your voice can be heard is through your vote, and this goes out to our brethren, brothers and sisters in Ekiti. On the 18th of June 2022 is the governorship election. Please go out, cast your vote in Ekiti State for someone who is credible and someone you trust that can rule you well. Looking at the program on the Dailies this morning, we have so many stories we would like to talk about and even review, including the press statement from the president of ECWA, which is Reverend Dr. Stephen Panyababa. And I won't be doing this alone. I have Sele Elisha. Good morning, Sele.
Morning to Sele.
Morning, Sele. And I would like to take the press statement from the president of ECWA in the person of Reverend Dr. Stephen Baba Panya. And it says a call for the preservation of Nigeria's unity. As we look forward to peaceful, free, fair and credible election in 2023, let me heartily congratulate all candidates that have emerged across the political parties for the presidential, governorship, national and state assembly election. We are very much pleased to note that the processes that led to their emergence were largely orderly and peaceful. Of course, this is not to say that there were no issues of concern. We pray and hope for better days ahead for our democracy. Given the pluralistic configuration of Nigeria, we have seen deliberate efforts since independence to preserve the peace and unity of the country by ensuring that the presidency is balanced in terms of religion and region. In the First Republic, for Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, who is a Muslim from the north, was the prime minister, while Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, a Christian from the south, who was the president under the parliamentary system. And under the presidential system, we have had Shehu Shagari, a Muslim from the north, and Alex Ekweme, a Christian from the south. Olusegun Obasanjo, a Christian from the south, and Atiku Abubakar, a Muslim from the north. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, a Muslim from the north, and Goodluck Jonathan, a Christian from the south. Goodluck Jonathan, a southern Christian, and Namadi Sambo, a northern Muslim, and currently Muhammadu Buhari, a Muslim from the north, and Yemi Oshibanjo, a Christian from the south. It is against this backdrop that we are calling on all the political parties to maintain this balance for the 2023 presidential election and to caution those who are brazenly advocating for a Muslim ticket to reconsider their own realistic stance. Our position on this matter is that we do not and will not support a Christian ticket or a Muslim ticket, as this is capable of plunging the nation into deep and irredeemable crisis. It is pertinent to restate unequivocally that the corporate existence of Nigeria is founded on the principle of justice, fairness, and equity, which is from Section 23 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, had identified amongst others. Religious tolerance and social justice are as national value, which must guide our conduct and relationship. Our national interest is greater than any individual or group interest. We must therefore do away with political sentiments that seek to divide and destroy us and embrace the ideas of peace, love, unity, and progress. Martin Luther King once said, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools." I pray we heed to this timely warning. May God choose for us leaders that are righteous, just, humble, and capable of serving this nation selflessly. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Stephen Panyababa, the ECWA president worldwide. And now I say this is really timely, talking about the deadline INEC have given the presidential aspirants on choosing their running mate, and we know that the deadline is on Friday, and we're speculations that for some parties they are going to go with the Muslim ticket, and we know that CAN have kicked against this. Even other political body, other religious body have kicked against this, and now we see ECWA kicking against this, because we've seen instances from way back. We've seen where when you're coming out for a position of presidency from a different religion, you have to choose someone from another religion for everything to be balanced and for everything to be fair. We spoke about this yesterday. Nigeria is not based on just one religion. We have different religion, but we need to balance everything in choosing your running mate. And now ECWA have come up with this press statement on how we can balance all this and referring people back to back to where we started politics and how it has been. So this is not time for us to change it. We need to do something about it, and if it's not changed, then it lies in the hands of Christians on choosing who they want to represent them and the nation, because your voice can only be heard when you get your PVC, and when you get your PVC, how you go out and vote. We need to choose someone who is right, someone who is credible, and someone we know that will represent us even on the long run.
Very true, Tosin. I'm really excited when I saw this press release coming from the ECWA president, and I believe that this should not just be left to one denomination. We are all one body in Christ. So I call on other religious bodies, also especially the Christian, the church, to rise up and come together. Let us kick against this. Just like we said, can't have spoken, but I don't think their voice is enough. We all have to come together to show that we are united to kick against this. We have representatives in various parts that can actually do that. If we are having a presidential aspirant coming from the north, and it will be fair to also having that we're having the running mate coming from the other religion, which is the Christianity, because we're equally, Nigeria is not, it doesn't belong to any religion. Just like we said, it's a federal Republic of Nigeria. That means every religion should be equally represented. And so if we're having these two dominant religion, that is what we're having in Nigeria, then I think it is fair that we look at. So just like you said, we have 48 hours INEC has given them, and we are hoping that today, tomorrow, we should be able to know who the running mates will be. So we just hope that all these parties will listen, pay heed, because we're in a very sensitive time as it is right now, and it will not be fair when we have a Muslim with what that is happening. The death of Deborah, we saw what happened in Anambra. We're having another one in Abuja that was killed. So you could see that the times that it's not timely at all. It's not going to be fair. It's not constitutional, and I think it will only be fair if we look at the Christian should also be presented, or where a Christian is an aspirant, we should look at the Muslim also being the running mate.
Yes, thank you, Senna. But before we move with the Daily Trust newspaper, I would like you to know that we are live on Facebook. Do well to drop your comments on stories we'll be reviewing this morning. Senna, we can start with the Daily Trust.
Okay, the first story on the Daily Trust: how Abuja farmer was killed, dumped inside well by his workers, and I hope those behind that will be apprehended. It's really a sad one hearing such a story on the paper, and this is not the first time we're hearing things happening to people working, and they hear that your workers connive together to do something. So I just hope those who are behind this, justice will have its place. You can imagine how sad it will be for the family if he's married, the wife, the kids, if it's not the parents and other people that depend on this farmer. It's really a sad one when we see that we're already going through hunger crisis and we're having things like this coming up on our paper. So I hope that justice will actually prevail at the end of the day.
Yes, and then we've gotten to a point in our country where life doesn't matter any longer to people. I know there was a time where we kicked against issue of jungle justice, and we are still kicking against jungle justice. It's as easy as, if someone have offended you, you report to the necessary authorities. Why do we have the security agencies in our country? These are people you should go report some unlawful acts that have been done to you. But you see now issues where people just take the life of their fellow human being just like that. Now we see this happening in Abuja, and we also had where someone was killed on the ground of blasphemy. We just hope that our justice system will wake up to all these things, because people that are doing this should not move freely. They should not move freely in our communities, because they can even do more than all these things. They can do more than even taking lives, because when you take the life of your brother, then you can do so many things. These people need to be taken away from our community. They should go face the full wrath of the law, because something is really happening. We should not move around freely with all those people. The justice system needs to wake up to all these people. Then justice should be served to them adequately.
True, Tosin. Well, other stories still on Daily Trust: inflation will push additional 1 million Nigerians into poverty by the end of 2022. This is the statistics coming from the World Bank, and we saw that on the paper yesterday. So we hope that the government are doing something for us to be able to avert such a thing from happening, because it will not be fun when people are hungry and we're having the 2023 general election coming for Tosin. You could imagine what will happen. Anybody will sell his vote for just a penny, for just peanuts. At the end of the day, you're selling your destiny and that of your children. So I just hope that the federal government would look into, seeing how we can do away with this. If this is what the World Bank is saying, and already we're having the cases where even diesel will soon be sold at 1,000 naira per litre. Imagine, lots of even aviation sectors are shutting down because they cannot continue with the way things are. When we are having hospitals depending on diesel, where we're having lots of factories depending on diesel to run their businesses, definitely such thing is going to happen. And if we're saying that other countries that produce oil are rich, then what is happening to Nigeria, where we are also part of the countries that also have crude oil, yet we are poor on a daily basis? If you are to go back the past time, looking at the number of unemployment and looking at the present number of unemployment, also you know that it's really a sad one. It's not even something that you and I want to even go back to look into. So I just hope that the government will look into this. We are tired of having where just the government will sit and be concerned about his or her interests. This should be about the interests of Nigerians, because things are not funny. There's food crisis, inflation is here and there, and you could really tell the way everything is happening. Our sectors are falling one after the other because we're having, like, say, politicians, or we're having people that are not even concerned about what is happening. As far as they can send their words abroad, they can afford other things happening abroad. They do not care what is happening in Nigeria. I keep saying this country is the only country we have to call our own. I think we need to be very patriotic with things that are happening. We need to go back. When we are saying the pledge, I wonder if we really pay attention to what we're saying. So I just hope we wake up and then be able to look into this issue before it gets too late. And the big story here, which is 2 days to INEC deadline, Wike wins the PDP adversary council poll as running mate with the rider. Tinubu will choose his VP. This is coming from Hope Ozodima. We're having APC governors mum after meeting Buhari. President takes decision without cabal. This is coming from Garba Shehu. And we are not in alliance talk. This is coming from NNPP. The picture story here, we can see refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo with all that is happening there. We just hope soon things will be back to normal in Congo and people will go back to their respective homes. Nigerian loses $1.7 billion court case against JP Morgan, with detail on page 19. Hadiza Gabon appears in court, denies promising to marry man. NCDC confirms 36 monkeypox cases in 15 states and FCT. And I really hope that our Ministry of Health will rise up to their responsibility, because we saw when it was just a number of very few cases and one death, and we are seeing that presently we're having 50 states and even the Federal Capital Territory. And I remember you and I discussing this to say that the Ministry of Health needs to wake up before it spreads to the 36 states. So I just hope we'll look into this. We don't want to go back to where it was during the COVID, where we were very reluctant and it got to a place where we had to be locked up in our homes. So I hope we'll rise up and look into this issue too. And the last story, 10 killed in renewed cultist clashes in Ogun. And that's all on the Daily Trust newspaper.
Thank you, Sally. On the Punch, fuel subsidy surpasses health, education, welfare budget. World Bank warns Nigeria. On our massacre, Southwest governors to rejig security. Lawmakers demand attackers' arrest. The rider says Southwest won't tolerate another attack, says Akeredolu, and 3 governors donate 75 million naira. Reps is saying will put security agencies under fire until they arrest killers. Dollar rises by 21%. FX shortage persists after party primaries. Federal government, 10 states plan 2,000 megawatts off-grid power. 1.4 trillion naira lost to 2021 aircraft repair in foreign countries. This is coming from the federal government. And while on Muslim ticket, which is making the rounds on the Punch, can others warn parties as Buhari meets governors. PDP names Atiku vice president on Thursday. Muslim ticket dangerous. Declaration of war. Khan warns parties and vows stiff resistance. What matters is responsible government. Hunger knows no religion. This is from Tinubu's group. Constitution doesn't stipulate religion as a criteria for choosing the vice president. This is coming from Governor Uzodinma. On Ekiti INEC, IG promises credible governorship. On Dublin's economy as health workers lament unpaid salaries. Details can be found in page 10. Lagos tenant rapes neighbor's 16-year-old daughter, commits suicide. Federal government mom as College of Education lecturers begin strike, and 31 policemen dismissed, others sanctioned over 14,976 complaints. Gunmen abduct 2 in Ogun Church, 14 Castina and Bayelsa residents. And diesel price may hit 1,500 naira per litre. 75% filling stations closed. And this is coming from marketers, with details in page 17 of the Punch newspaper. That's all on the Punch.
Thank you, Tosin. Let's take a look at the Daily Sun newspaper. Catholic Church rejects Muslim tickets, with the rider calls it most insensitive endorsement by those threatening peace in Nigeria. Khan advises political parties to respect nation diversity. Nigeria's economy at lowest level ever. This is coming from the World Bank, and detail can be found on page 2. Letter to Nigerians at Democracy Day season. This is coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. Dear Nigerians, further to my broadcast commemorating Democracy Day, I would like to highlight and elaborate some of the developments in the last 12 months of this administration. Progress and improvement in its desires to attain the goal of a strong and valuable democratic entity. When this administration decided to change our democracy from the 29th of May to 12th of June, in my first tenure, it was not only to honor the sacrifice but also to demonstrate our commitment to satisfy the aspiration of the people and creating an environment for democracy to be an acceptable way of life. This government belief and support for democracy has been demonstrated beyond Nigeria by way of its strong and sustained opposition against non-democratic practices and encouragement of sanction against countries where military coups took place. This opposition was replicated at the platform of the African Union Peace and Security Council as well as the United Nations. Nigeria has equally rejected third-term project by some African leaders because it has been proven to be one of the drivers of military coups and democratic and social instability. In the past years, we have witnessed and overcome a good number of challenges that will ordinarily have considerably weakened our nation. Our armed forces, in collaboration with other security agencies, are working hard to rescue all Nigerians in captivity, as well as to ensure the protection of lives and properties of our citizens. We have reviewed our strategy in confronting the prevailing security challenges, and we are pleased that it is yielding the desired results. We have also continued to provide strategic guidance to our armed forces through policy changes and reviews to ensure our military evolve more effectively and efficiently in line with global best standards. The reform repraises the various facets of our defense management, operations as well as expenditure that will enhance our armed forces in safeguarding the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The defense sector reform is currently being implemented and is yielding the desired results to the expectations of all Nigerians. As Nigeria, we must continue to give our armed forces the much needed collaboration and support to concentrate on the improvement made. One of the cardinal successes of this administration since inception is enhancing the capacity and capability of our armed forces through increased manpower intake, better training, as well as equipping them with the much needed modern equipment and platform Thus, the overall capability of our armed forces has been massively enhanced over the last 7 years, and we are gradually reaping the benefit of this improvement. We can continue to read on detail of this inside the Daily Sun newspaper, and that's all on the Daily Sun newspaper.
On the Nation, PDP panel okays Wike as Atiku's running mate. Ugwai Okowa Udom dropped, and details can be found in page 3. On Ekiti, Tinubu Adamu Akande 14 governors solicit votes for APC candidates, while on the killings, Akeredolu talks tough on the all killings. That's all on the Nation newspaper.
And on the Voice of Liberty, on 2023 PDP ticket, Atiku set to unveil Wike as running mate as PDP committee recommends the governor. And on insecurity, terrorists adopt 7-month-old baby, 7 others in Castina Metropolis. We actually hope they'll be reunited soon. And still on 2023 Muslim ticket, neglect us at your own peril, Arewa Christians won. The big story here, which is on 2023 APC ticket, Buhari not in support of the Muslim ticket for APC. This is coming from sources. President Muhammadu Buhari is said to not be in support of the ruling All Progressive Congress parading a Muslim presidential ticket in the 2023 general election. It is being gathered, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed to see what the outcome of this will be. President Muhammadu Buhari takes decisions without any cabal. This is coming from the presidency. And INEC deploys additional machines for CVR to Kano, Southeast and Lagos. And still in 2023, I said I would support Tinubu. I never asked Eboyi people not to vote for Peter Obi. This is coming from Umahi. And we have still on insecurity, 913 killed, 265 adopted in May. INEC deploys additional machines for the CVR to Kano, Southeast and Lagos. And that side of the paper is still a countdown on the Kaduna train terror attack victims, and 79 days in captivity. We hope that the remaining there will soon be released too. And that's all on the Voice of Liberty.
Next, I'll be taking the New Telegraph newspaper. World Bank is saying economic hardship to push additional 1 million Nigerians into poverty by 2022. Fuel subsidy to go up 5 trillion naira. Nigeria records 1.25 trillion naira annual capital flight on overseas aircraft to repair. And APC loses 2 members to PDP. Abdullahi Abaribe formally resigns as majority and minority leader. On drug trafficking, carries co-defendants back 2 years imprisonment. And Vice President again, PDP may ignore Southeast as odds favor Wike. Selection committee shortlists 4 names for Atiku. Delegate system costs loss of primaries by many reps. This is coming from Femi Baja Biamila as a direct primary only viable against for our democracy. This is from Ikweremadu. Nigeria loses 706.72 billion naira claim against JP Morgan as UK court rules federal government not defrauded in OPL's 245 deal. Absolves Aduke Ekete of complicity as Under Secretary of State. Nuland visit Djibouti and Mozambique in Nigeria. Still on our massacre, we will tolerate further attack in our region. This is from the Southwest governors. And Edumoga killings, we can defend ourselves if federal government can't help us. This is coming from the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. And we know that yesterday there was an attack in a community in Benue State, and this has resulted to people saying if the government can't defend them. If the government can't protect them, then they can protect themselves. Are we supposed to take laws into our hands when the government are not doing anything, Sele? People have resorted to start defending themselves, to start fighting for them, since our security agencies are even moving around in communities and they are not doing anything. We need to do something about it before this thing escalate and become something that we can't curb any longer. Because when people resort to taking laws into their hands, when people resort to defending themselves, then even if the security agencies are there, they can't do anything. So we need to do something about it, since the key work of the government is to secure lives and properties. Then they should look into securing lives and properties. But we see that even with the press statement the president made in the letter to Nigerians on democracy, he spoke about security. He spoke about how insecurity can be curbed and how we need to put in more efforts to work hand in hand with our police. I saw where the CDS said, if you see anything, you should report to the soldiers. You should give them information on things that are happening in your community. But Sele, we see that even if you give information, so at times these people don't even give out the necessary things. They don't even jump into action that they are supposed to do, and you see that at the end of it, people are being killed in communities are wiped out, people run from their home, they go to other places for safety. We need to look into all this, because at the point where communities now are being raided, are being killed, something needs to be done about this. We should not allow people to take laws into their hands, because if people take laws into their hands, it will become something that we can't curb, and even the security agencies will not be able to curb this action. Still on the New Telegraph, heightened security challenges taking toll on government revenue. This is coming from the AGF. On 2023, Muslim tickets will be most insensitive. This is from the Catholic bishops. Says most politicians conduct going from bad to worse. Promote common good, not self-interest. Khan tells parties, and reject party with same faith ticket. This is coming from Tekan. Only Tinubu can decide on his running mate. This is from Hope Uzodinma. And we have the last story on the New Telegraph, which is a study saying forever chemicals linked to hypertension in middle-aged women. And details can be found in page 8, and that's all on the New Telegraph. But before we move to other stories on our papers this morning, we'll be right back after this timeout. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Still on the Dailies on Equa Television. We're live on Facebook. Do well to drop your comments, and our phone lines are open. You can do well to call us on stories that interest you. I'm still doing this alongside Sele Elisha. So then let's move over to the next paper.
Okay, the next paper, which is an international paper from Daily Express. Who is next? British Airways set to strike, with detail on page 6 and 7 of Daily Express newspaper. Hazard for a great England victory, and that is on the sport, so you can see the sports section for our sport lovers. European Court of Human Rights stop deportation of migrants from Britain.
So now we have Mr. Shamal from Kaduna. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
Tosin and Sele, good morning.
Good morning.
Shaman calling from Kaduna. Obviously, you are doing justice to this program this morning. I want to say this with a loud voice, that the Christians are asleep. It has been a program for long that these people are trying to play over the status of Christianity in Nigeria. But the Christians are safe. We have never understood what these people are doing. There's a plan on ground that I pray that the God that will serve, the God of providence that will serve, will never let this thing come to be. Let us always be in prayers. Let us commit everything to God. There's no single agenda that's more than the nation, and there's no anybody that's more than any other person. All of us are all human beings created by God. Nigeria is a secular state. If these people think they will bring Muslim ticket to Nigeria to face run us, we'll see how effective it's going to be. What if I started this in Kaduna State? Because Southern Kaduna are very mild, love caring people, are very academian, but they do not really show anything because they need peace. They think they can bring this into the nation and play it out. Honestly speaking, we will reject it with the least of our blood, and we'll make sure this thing does not happen in this country. Good morning, my sisters.
Thank you, Mr. Shamal. So I would like to say that even while we pray, we should take action because we need to work with this. No one can impose anybody on you. That's why I say you have your PVC, and that is what you use to vote in the right government. It's something to have a Muslim for a party. It's another thing to look out for other parties. I say it's not just this party about one party. You have other parties. You have other places you can spread your tentacles. So we should not just allow any party to impose anything on us. Look out for other people. Look out for someone who is credible, because if you've not learned your lesson for these 8 years and even times past, then we can't learn our lesson. We keep on reading about the inflation. We keep on reading. We have Mr. Jibril from Lantan.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Jibril.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Go straight to the point.
Yeah, good morning. I'm calling from Lantan. Yes, I want to appreciate you for your good work. Hello?
Go straight. Continue.
Yeah. Hello.
I think we're having a network
Yes, I
issue.
want to say something about the Muslim ticket. That is a very wrong. That is a very bad, unaccepted way of doing politics.
I think we've lost the call with Mr. Jibril. Do well to call us back. We're having network interference. And I would like to say no one is imposing anything on you. Have other parties. Spread your tentacles in other parties. Look out for someone who is credible and someone who will lead you right and someone you have trust in. We have Mr. Stephen from Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Fine.
We are good. Please go straight to the point.
My own opinion is this. Like, we can see what is happening in the country right now. Because right now, to me, I condemn Muslim tickets. Okay? I condemn Muslim tickets. And even as we are having Muslim and Christian, there is stealing all over the country. It's not even the solution. But the only thing I'm only praying is that let every one of us go out there and get our PVC. And again, they should also make sure that they extend the PVC something to 2 months, please. And beg you. It's not easy to get. Should make this thing available to everybody, please. I'm begging Nigerians. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Talking about extending the date for the PVC. You know, last week there was speculation that INEC will extend it, but it still stands that the deadline is still 30th. So we have to just sacrifice. That is just it. You have to just sacrifice your time and go out to get it. I know it's not easy going on the long queue to get this PVC, but it's worth it, Sele. We need to get this PVC so that we can vote in the right and the credible person for election. I have Mr. Joseph from Kaduna. Good morning.
Okay, well, still on Daily Express, we have Foray as Rwanda flight blocked. We have Maurice Johnson angrily threatened to ditch human rights law last night after Barrister Eustace blocked the first flight of immigrants being deported to Rwanda. Well, you can actually check detail of that story on page 4 of the Daily International Express newspaper.
Mr. Benjamin from Zamfara, good morning.
Good
morning.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. Please reduce the volume of your TV.
It's true that you run for president, just rumors.
Okay, thank you for your question. It's rumor because we have the aspirants on the different parties, and good luck Billy Jonathan is not part of them, so they are all rumors. So let's move into the Al Jazeera midweek, and I have CBN Bankers Committee hold maiden non-oil export summit. NNPC supplies 1.523 billion naira liters of fuel as Abuja queues persist. Crisis rocks Yobe APC as Senate President Lawan faces hot battle to regain seat. And Mr. Stephen is back from Ebony.
It's not a problem that is of that ticket, who will be the vice president. But who is going to better the country? Whether the pagan or Judaism, whatever may be the type of religion the person is coming from. He has the mind of the people in his heart. That is what we need. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, it's going.
So that's what we need. Just here in the band, there was a time one of our governor went and borrowed money for the ring road. They were contemplating why is he going that he has sold the body. What of if Christianity has their own bank? We don't go and do it, but there's no way like that. So this of massacre now has come. I know how to influence there and donated over 75 million. Is it not a Muslim connecting to the Christian? How many of the Christians have gone and donated like that have the money? So let's not put that issue aside and look for who is going to better the country. We are talking of person, not religion now. Make them come from pagan, make them from pagan that knows the mind of people, make them come and read. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution.
I'd like to react to that because I totally stand against that, because I believe that we have competent people in other religions. So why insisting on the Muslim ticket? We need to come together and have one voice, regardless of no matter whatever religion you belong to. If we said that we want to be fair, we want equity happening in the country, then it is only fair that we check all the, look at the press coming from the president of ECWA, you could see that it has always been there. So why the change right now? So I think we need to come together, be united, and ask for one thing. You can't tell me that it's about whoever is competent. I tell you that other religions are not competent enough. They don't have people who can actually rule the country. Of course, no. So I think we need to come together and do something about this.
Yes, we need to come together and do something. Seen on Al Jazeera midweek, here on INEC deadline, we have Reverend Godwin.
I'm asking, I don't know the party that good luck is in now. Because I'm hearing you.
Yes, you are.
Hello?
Go on, Mr. Godwin.
Right. Hello? I said, I don't know the party. I want to know the party that good luck is in now, because we have not seen PDP, this and the APC also. It's not there.
Reverend Godwin, Goodluck Billy Jonathan is still in PDP, but is not aspiring for any political position. presently. So that's it. This goes to Mr. Benjamin and even Reverend Godwin. They're asking about Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, if he's aspiring for any position or what party is he presently. He's still in PDP, but he's not aspiring for any position. So they should understand this and even take note. And to others who are still having issues on understanding if he is in a party or if he's coming out for any position, he is not. So look out for other people that you can vote in come 2023. Still on the midweek Al Jazeera, we have crisis rocks Yobe APC as Senate President Lawan faces hot battle to regain seat. Despite federal government's MMP 6.86 million naira electricity consumers not metered, and Nigeria loses 1.7 billion naira court battle against JP Morgan. Good morning, Mr. Benjamin from Makurdi.
Hello?
Good morning. Go on with your comments.
Okay. Good evening. Good morning. I don't want. I need Atiku to win election in Nigeria so that the revised economy of Nigeria, because we are suffering. These people, APC.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin, but this is not where we can do campaign. We don't do campaign here. We're entitled to whoever we want to come out for any position and whoever we want to be president, but we have to keep it to ourselves. Everybody have the right to vote whoever person he or she wants to serve him and even rule him, and that is why we keep on saying you have to go out and vote. It is good that you have someone you want to rule, you have your opinions why you want him to rule you, but you have to keep it to yourself. This is not where we do several kind of campaigns. Still on the Al Jazeera midweek, INEC deadline, choice of vice president unsettles APC and PDP. Buhari meets APC governors over Tinubu's running mate. On drug deal, Abekari's co-defendant sentenced to 6-year jail. Still on our attack again, Akeredolu reads Riot Act to bandits. COE-ASU embarks on strike over 15 billion naira revitalization fund. Details can be found in page 6, and that's all on the Al Jazeera midweek.
And on Daily Independent, large turnover of reps, a big loss to democracy. This is coming from Bajabi and Miller. Lawan consults senators who lost out in primaries. Assures Senate will address loopholes in the Electoral Act. Nigeria lost $2.5 billion to aircraft maintenance abroad in 2021. This is coming from the Fan MD. And the big story, Buhari rejects pressure to impose running mate on Tinubu. He takes decisions without cabal. This is coming from the presidency. OPL 245 JP Morgan wins the $1.7 billion trial against Nigeria. And on our massacre, Southwest governors to hold security meeting. This is coming from Abiodun. Ogun, Lagos, Kwara governors donate 75 million. Detail of that can be found on page 7. Kidnappers of Zamfara wedding guests demand 145 million naira ransom. With detail on page 7. Peter Obi visits Egypt to understudy country's power, education, finance sector. Detailed on page 6. Nigerian to lose 5 trillion naira in 2022 over fuel subsidy. This is coming from the World Bank. Says inflation likely to increase further. Additional 1 million Nigerians going into poverty by the end of 2022. Alleged coding deal, Abba Kyari co-defendant back 2 years imprisonment. And the last story, PDP committee recommends Wike as Atiku's running mate. We detailed on page 6, and that's all on the Daily Independent.
On the sweet crude paper, Navy intercepts stolen crude oil in rivers, and demand for Nigeria's diesel rich Engina crude source, with NSCDC uncovers illegal oil bunkering camp near Rivers Varsity. World Bank to fund $900 million development project in East Congo. And we have some updates from June 19, from April 14th to June 19 on our oil wells. Do well to visit the sweet crude to be updated on how the oil wells have been improving our economy in our country. That's all on the sweet crude paper.
And on the world of business, this is coming from the Business Standard. State lenders waste export fund. Now forex in stress further. And we can see the fourth loan against export development fund with a bar chart. So you can actually go through the Business Standard and read more of that. The Prime Minister Hassani to take photos with all engaged in building Palma Bridge. Chemicals at CTG port, a ticking bomb that may go off anytime. A litmus test for EC as Kumila City goes to polls today. And we have the RAK Ceramics to invest TK 902 CR in a greenfield tile plant. And that's all on the Business Standard.
Thank you, Sele, for doing this with me. I would like to wrap up with a message and a comment from Augustine Shemang. He says, "Good morning, Sele and Tosin. With all my Christians faithful, I advise that the Christians should wake up from our long sleep because our other brethren have some very crucial that we don't seem to comprehend. The Muslim ticket will tear this country apart. Our politicians are our manners. Let's keep our mind across not to compromise the labor of our forefathers. Please." This is Shemang from Ngwambulus, Sabun Tasha in Kaduna. And I would like to applaud and also appreciate all our callers. We had Benjamin from Makodi, Godwin from Kwara, Shamal from Kaduna, and Jibril from Lantan, Stephen from Lagos. We had Stephen again from Ebonyi, and we had Mr. Benjamin and also Augustine Shemang for your comment. Thank you very much. Let's do this tomorrow, same time and same station. Have a blessed day.